Hi everyone, Murray here. What with this talk of this COVID-19 virus going around, and all sorts of presidents and prime ministers and all sorts of people are saying we might have to shut the country down, we might have to make everyone stay at home and, you know, go into quarantine or whatever you like to call it. Well, in view of that maybe happening, lots of people are racing off to supermarkets and stampeding and buying all sorts of stuff they don't need, like hundreds of rolls of toilet paper. I just don't get that one. I don't understand what they're going to do with the toilet paper. But anyway, I thought I'd go around our greenhouse and see what we've got that we can live on for, you know, quite a period of time. And I reckon Gail and I and some of our close friends, we could survive for a month or two, I reckon, on what we've got in our greenhouse. And I'm just going to go around and bits and pieces in the greenhouse and show you what we've got right now and what's coming along. The first thing is this beautiful papaya right behind me here. Now you can see it, look, and this is not the only tree I've got. I've got 4 or 5 really good trees that have got heaps of papaya on them, or pawpaw as we call them in Australia. And we've just discovered, my wife and I know many of you already know it, but we've just discovered how good green papaya is, grated up finely in a salad. It's absolutely delicious, I can assure you. And if you haven't tried it, you should try it. So, you know, we can get quite a few meals out of these papayas that we've got green before they even get ripe, and make them into a beautiful salad. So come with me and I'll show you some other things. I've got some cucumbers here I want to show you. Let's take a look at the cucumbers I've got coming on here now. They're just starting to bear nicely. Have a look at this one here. Look at that, beautiful. We've got another one coming on in here. See the fruit is, I don't know if you can see that one on the camera, there you go. And I've got more up there coming on. Here's another little one here starting to fill out. So we're going to have and there's another one down here I can see quite large. Another 2, goodness me, they're everywhere, look at that. So they're starting to fill out nicely. Absolutely excellent. Now I want to show you the next thing, and that is we've got some beautiful climbing beans that are just starting to come. So follow me over here, just starting to come into their own. So look at this beautiful purple lake, I think this particular variety is. And look, we've been growing these for a long time now, and I can tell you that I'm just going to pick a handful. I'm just picking on one spot, and I've got them behind me here. See up here? And it's not real hard for us to pick every day. Look at that, handful of beans to feed 2 people with a nice meal. And we'll pick this many and more every single day for probably 3 months off these bean bushes. And beans like to be picked as well, because if you don't pick them, the bean bush will think, oh, I've done my job, I've now got mature beans that are producing seed, so I'll stop bearing. But if you keep picking them, you'll keep getting more and more beans. Just look at some of these beautiful beans that are here that are all coming on. Now we've got all these beautiful leafy greens coming on. Here's a bed that's just been planted up about a week and a half ago, and you can see these beautiful lettuce of different kinds, red and green lettuce. We're going to be able to make the most fantastic salads out of those. And behind me here we've got all our seedlings coming up, so we've got a great supply of seedlings coming on. Look at this, these are all lettuce of different kinds and different leafy greens. We've got some tomatoes there, some cabbage coming on. They're going to get planted out, and so on they go. And this is how we keep it going. And if we can just swing the camera around to here, you'll see we've got a whole lot of younger ones, younger than the last bed you just saw. And these guys are only been in here about 3 or 4 days, and they're going to be bouncing out within 3 or 4 weeks. We're going to have more lettuce than we know what to do with, so we can have an abundance of salads. Remember the beautiful salads, we're going to grate some papaya into it, pawpaw. We've got this leafy green, and it's just wonderful. And we've got cucumbers. It's going to be just great. And here we've got some more cucumber. These guys are just starting to set fruit. Lots of male flowers on, some female flowers up here. And look, here's some of the first little fruit that has set and is growing out for us. And there's a few more hiding in behind there. So there's going to be an abundance of cucumber. Not a problem. Let's go over and have a look at the tomatoes. Okay, now we're looking at our tomato bushes. This is only just some of them. And I've just finished pruning these pretty hard, I must admit, to get rid of a lot of the rubbish leaves that don't count, so we can see the fruit. But look at this lovely bunch of fruit here. Another one up here. Look at this big bunch of tomatoes coming on. We've got lots of them. Look at this here. This bush is loaded up. So next few days, we've already picked some off this morning, but next few days we're going to have 2 or 3, 4 or 5 tomatoes every day coming off these bushes. How good is that? And here's another bed of lettuce and various leafy greens we've got planted here in a raft system. Just look at it. Various ages. See, we've staged it. We've got those that are they've been in here about a week and a half, 2 weeks. These have been planted only a few days. We've got some here that have been a week and a half or 2 weeks. So we've got an ample supply of leafy greens. We're going to be set for leafy greens. We're going to have leafy greens, tomatoes, cucumbers. What else is there? We've got some other things I can show you. And while we're walking past the fish tank, I might as well just tell you about the fish. In this particular tank, this is only one tank of fish, we've got 135 ready to eat fish in this tank. So that's going to last us for a very long time. If we're really stuck here and we're housebound or we can't leave the property or whatever, we can harvest 2 or 3 fish a week for a long time. What's 3 fish into 135? It's got to be 40 weeks. 40 weeks of fish in this tank alone. Now I wouldn't want to harvest them all out obviously, but that's just this tank alone. It shows you how much protein you can have at your place in case you really needed it. So let's move on and we'll look at some other things. Okay, here we are in our indie greenhouse now, and we're just going to show you stuff we've got growing in here. This particular leafy green is called Radicchio. It's actually an Italian lettuce, so they say. A little bit bitter, but it cooks very well. You can use it in stir fries and all that kind of thing, and stews. If you're going to have a beef stew, you want to put some green, chop this up fine, it goes into beef stew. How good is that? Amaranth, I believe this is called, and I believe we can eat the leaves. We've not tried before, but we thought we'll grow some. We'll just try it out and see how it goes. So we've got plenty of that coming along. And coming along up here, more of this Radicchio coming on. Look how healthy it is. It's really starting to turn red on the edges of the leaves. See, that's the facet of it. And eventually it develops a heart that's quite red inside. So okay, let's go a bit further up. Look at this beautiful corn coming along. I don't know how many pieces of corn we've got here, corn bushes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 to a row and about 12 or 13 rows. So if each of them produces a cob of corn, we're going to have a great supply of corn as well. But that's probably about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks away yet before we can harvest that one. Let's look over on this side and we can see more leafy greens growing here of all different kinds. We've got all sorts of different Asian greens as they're called, tot soy, and I can't think of some of the other names right now, but here we've got lettuce of different kinds growing. And look, just come up this way with me and we'll look at the pumpkin vine. Okay, this is our pumpkin vine. Now this is growing in our ND23 system in the wicking bed. It's kind of taken over and it's a bit ugly. It's not exactly the prettiest bush in town, and you can see there's a bit of mildew on the leaves, but that doesn't matter. The pumpkin vine's doing great. Just want to show you, look, we've got some beautiful pumpkins coming on. You can see this one in here. There's another one down here that's hanging there, and there's another one over there in the corner. We've got about 6 or 7 of them actually on this bush, which is great. And of course, as time goes by, more fruit will set, and I anticipate within a month or 2 we will have a steady supply of beautiful Jap pumpkins that we can make pumpkin soup out of, or a baked pumpkin, in a baked dinner, and so on it goes. So beautiful supply of pumpkins. Also, as we go past, look at the eggplant coming on. This is the second surge of fruit on this particular bunch of trees we have here, eggplant trees or plants, whatever you want to call them. And you can see at the back there's some old fruit that's really old and a bit past it, but we've discovered we can still use it. It's still good. And there's all little new ones coming on, new flowers. Isn't it terrific? And okay, we've got this lone okra bush, which is coming on beautifully. It's growing really well. It's probably got 3 or 4 weeks before it starts to shoot pods. I can see some of the early pods coming on there. So we'll be able to put okra into a lovely beef stew or chicken stew or a vegetarian stew, it doesn't matter. And look in the front and the foreground here, it's some beautiful young spinach. This is all weather spinach or all season spinach, some people call it. Beautiful plant, works really, really well. So we've got a whole lot of that in the greenhouse. More Radicchio over there, beans over there of course, and of course every meal, it doesn't matter whether it's a stir fry or a salad or some kind of stew, vegetable stew. Look at this beautiful garlic chives. We've got lots of growing here in the foreground, in the background, and we can flavour these meals up really beautifully. So that's what it's like at our place right now, and I reckon we're pretty well set. If we have to stay indoors for a month or 6 weeks, we'll be okay. We've also obviously got some pantry supplies in the house, some flour and some things like black-eyed beans and all sorts of stuff we can make stews and everything out of. And we're going to be set. We're going to be doing pretty well, I reckon, actually. And you can do this too. This is why I'm showing you, because you can do this too. And I hate to say it, but I think this is not going to be the last virus that we ever have, and there might be more and more times. Who knows? Some people are saying that this sort of thing is going to happen quite often, where you might have to be able to be, look after yourself a fair bit in your home. Instead of rushing off to the supermarket and buying hundreds of rolls of toilet paper, whatever that's going to do for you, I have no idea. But anyway, there you go. So this is Practical Aquaponics design course. We can teach you how to do all this stuff. Just come to see us at our website, aquaponics.net.au or aquaponicsdesigncourse.com, and you can see what you can do to learn to do all this stuff and be self-sufficient as it is possible.